Let's roll. This is Countercharge, your podcast for ranks, flanks, and kings of war. Join your hosts as they delve into the world of Panithor and bring you worldwide coverage of all things Kings of War.
Welcome to Countercharge, everyone. I am Jason Birr.
I'm Rob Fanoff.
And I am Jeremy Duvall. Rob, reports of our death. We are still alive.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we would touch base on that a little bit up top. Rob's really busy with his work. I'm really busy with my work. Family life. It's baseball season right now. My stepson's in baseball and my stepdaughter's in cheerleading. So driving around like a madman while Dr. Stacy keeps me in the living that I have grown accustomed to. I am driving the minivan around with all the kids. So it's been really excited tonight to be back here with Rob and Jason and talk all things 2026 U.S. Masters. I know, Rob, we had touched base a little bit on a Masters before. Where can people go back and sort of hear that initial conversation we had?
We'll drop a link to the previous episode in the show notes. It was episode 793, which was our live stream that we had Jason and Matt Temple on, where we announced that Minneapolis would be hosting the 2026 event. So we'll drop a link in the show notes for that. Go back and give that a listen. But we'll probably recap most of that information tonight, along with some new information. Before we get started in the U.S. Masters, though, Jason, how have you found 4th edition?
I've been liking it, obviously, with it coming out right before basketball season. I have not played a ton. I've gotten more casual games in for this edition than I have in the past, which is really good. It's gotten some excitement, but basketball season went really well. We won our state championship, so towards the end of the year, it was a little hectic between that and work with school and stuff. It's been busy, but just had a one day up in Duluth that Donnie Croche hosted, so that was a ton of fun, and starting to get the juices flowing a little bit more for my own modeling and hobby aspect as well as gaming.
Minnesota State high school basketball tournament. Is it like the hockey tournament where they have the mullets, they got the great lettuce and stuff? Because, you guys are epic on the hockey side. Basketball got some of that same panache?
I'm going to hold back my comments when it comes to the hockey side. I have very strong feelings one way, and it's not in compliance with Minnesota natives, to say the least. But basketball is good. We did it at the University of Minnesota. It actually got pushed back a week this year. That's why I had to miss Adepticon, because it was going to work out great back-to-back weekends for Adepticon and State getting pushed back. Obviously, threw a wrench in my gaming mojo, but no, it was good, ton of fun. I've coached a few teams there, but this is the first time that we won state, so lots of fun and just busy.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
I'm assuming Minnesota's got, like most states, where they have different classes, different levels, or 1 through 6 or 1 through 8 or whatever.
Yeah, we got 4. The school I coach at has a couple of NBA alums, and the head coach's 2 younger brothers playing the NBA. So,
oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so a lot of ties in, and it's a basketball school, so it's a ton of fun to coach at.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. How about in northern Minnesota? I see the post from Jeff Shilkin. Like, it seems like you guys are killing it in 4th edition. Talk to me about how it's been received up there.
It has been received very well. Much more casual gaming going on. In our hobby text group, it is a gong show some days where it's, hey, game, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays, game store, at some houses, 8 p.m. Sean Troy will come over to my house at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. So it's been really well received, and it's gotten the juices going in our community a lot better. Like I said, Donnie hosted a one day. On the way up there, we talked about potentially doing more one days, which we had not done. For a couple of seasons now, I think my one day has been the only one day on this side of the region, like completely at all. So it's good to have this energy. I know Patrick Brindelson, who's up here, he has got a major hobby store here in the Twin Cities that he's the owner of. And he talked about hosting Sundays for 1-days.
I love Patrick Brindleson. I've known him. I mean, I maybe met him back in 20 years, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. I mean, he has, if you get him, now I heard he's maybe not the partier that he used to be, but if you get him wound up, he's got some pipes on him.
Oh yeah. Played him round 3 yesterday. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, he's great. So you guys also have some big changes in the Midwest. Obviously, Matt Temple stepped down as the region chair, and huge shout out to Donnie Croce for stepping in and filling in that role. Kara Brown's going to remain the advisor. Any other changes potentially coming down the pipe in terms of Midwest Masters Regional?
I think that's it. We just listed our team yesterday, maybe. Donnie posted it yesterday or Saturday. And then, but first of all, I want to thank Matthew Temple for all that he did to step in during a tough time, both for Kara and for his own life. That's not exactly easy to go through, and just want to give a thanks publicly to Matthew and everything that he did for the Midwest during that time.
I've got a guess here that every single person that got an invitation in the Midwest accepted, right?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, surely no one would drop.
Kyle's hosting. He qualified, but he's hosting, obviously, with me and Connor. And then I think Jeff Franz maybe got an invitation but couldn't make it. And Donnie was like the next one underneath. So he has signed up for Best of the Rest currently, but has signed up that he will offer to Merck as well. I mean, I know the Ohio group has been seriously busy with games.
They're killer. They came down in force to the Blue City Brawl.
They literally play almost nightly, I want to say, whether on UB or in person. I think one day I saw one of their guys in their group play 3 games on UB in one day. Like morning, early afternoon, and then evening. I was like, machine.
That's awesome.
And you mentioned Mercs. It's a good shout out for us to remind people, if you're in a region that you're interested in Merking, this now would be the perfect time to reach out to your region rep and say, hey, I'm going to be at Best of the Rest, and I would be interested in being a Merc. In the very near future, we'll be getting into that process of selecting Mercs, and so get your name on that list if you're so inclined.
Within the sign up, it's a Google form that I've posted on all the Facebook pages for the regions, as well as Fanatics. On that sign up, you also can mark Merc. It will go to our list. We will mark down Mercs and send the list of the Mercs to all the region heads as well. So whether you contact your region head or just sign up for Best of the Rest and mark down Merc, that will make you eligible to be drafted if a region needs a Merc.
I like that. That might be a new thing that we have not seen before.
A nice, easy way to gather everyone who's interested in being a Merc,
Well, let's also mention that Donnie taking over the Midwest region. He's been working on a new qualification process. And so he's posted his thoughts and some preliminary discussion there. If you're inclined to want to review that, head over to the Midwest region page on Facebook for more details. It's a long litany of things. I like some of the things they're talking about, really incentivizing 1-days and, maybe even potentially giving points to TOs to incentivize people to run events. That's the one beautiful thing about the U.S. Masters program, is that each region seems to evolve year to year. Well, maybe not Texas, but the rest of them do.
Yeah, we just found that with the way our region is, it's so spread out, and getting to things is like, for us to get to Ohio, it's actually less time for us to get down to Omaha for Omaha's 1-day than it would be to go to Ohio's 1-day. So and that's what we've had multiple people give that insight when Donnie reached out for insight on qualification and if there would be interest in any changes. That was one of the main ones, that we want to incentivize 1-days a little bit more to not only have you go to more, but also not play in one and just be a tryhard in that 1-day kind of thing, where you play more 1-days, you get to play more casually, but at a tournament level. You don't have to take your best list to every single 1-day, which is typically got a lot more new players that you want to be welcoming at as well.
Yeah, 1-days are great for local players in particular that don't travel as much, and you get new faces, and definitely want to make it an inviting atmosphere for players to come in and learn the game. Just as a quick reminder, we're going to get into U.S. Masters, but Midwest has got a long storied history with it. They ran the second U.S. Masters back in Chicago in 2018, and you were at that one, right, Jeremy?
Yes, that was my first Masters.
Because you missed the Nashville one.
I missed the Nashville one.
We had the cheese. The Rashad was there from the Pacific Northwest at Nashville, yeah.
The Grant /
Chris Kapsner.
Chris Kapsner, right. who are kind of running it
Mike
together.
Carter, a bunch of guys from the Midwest contributed there. So let's get the details out. Again, it's in the previous cast, but we'll just share them again. July 11th and 12th, 2026, Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's at St. Thomas Academy. Just Jason has to take a bow. He literally changed jobs just so he could find a venue.
That's dedication.
That's dedication. I mean, that's real dedication.
Technically, I'm alum, so that was a big thing too.
So let's remind people who's running the event this year.
Well, let's be honest. Connor Murphy and Kyle Peach are the brains of the operation. I'm just a face that likes to talk to people a little bit more and can get things out a little bit more readily right now with no basketball. So those two are the ones behind all the good stuff that is happening with the tournament, making it run smooth, the Google Forms, the Google Docs, the finance stuff. So they definitely deserve a lot of credit there. But yeah, it'll be us three mainly. I know we've already got our 3 paint judges set up. We have a live stream person to do it already, with Cara potentially helping as well. We got the cooks already hired. We have, we're off and running as far as people for helping the tournament, which is great. So yeah, us 3 are kind of the 3 heads at the top. But then obviously we couldn't run a tournament of this size with the things we're trying to do without a lot of help.
And I think that's one of the takeaways, Rob, after having run Masters last year. And this, you can't run a big event like this by yourself. You really do need a team. And it sounds like you guys have really taken and run with that and got a good team and letting people, play to their strengths, work on different elements of it. Was that sort of like a key component when you guys were first thinking about hosting a Masters, is let's try to get together like a good group of guys together to run this so that not any one person has to bear the full weight?
For sure. I mean, obviously, like you said, with the mass people that we would hope to attract for this tournament, like in the last couple of years, Connor and Kyle have ran Renegade. I've ran my one day, and we wanted to kind of combine those two to make it for Masters in that way smooth. Everything's on time, but at the same time having fun as a community. So that was the big thing for us, and we felt like the 3 of us work really well together. We definitely complement each other a lot more. And then obviously with how big of a community we have in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, plus the support of the Duluth guys, everyone from Ohio and Indiana, and obviously the Outlanders have offered to help out as well. So just having those relationships, having the branches that we can reach out to and ask for help, definitely is one of the reasons why we felt like it was a good situation on top of travel and things like that to have Masters where we're at.
Now let's talk a little bit about, I know Rob just mentioned an old alma mater for you, and you guys are going to be holding the event at a school. Like, what is your sort of, maybe take us into that little elevator pitch of why you guys picked this location, what's its kind of like secret sauce, or what does it have going for it, maybe. But why don't you talk to us a little bit about the location of where Masters and Best of the Rest is going to be this year?
Yep. So like Rob said, it's going to be at St. Thomas Academy. It's actually Mendota Heights, Minnesota. We just call it Minneapolis-St. Paul because it's one of the suburbs basically. But it's a ginormous gym. I have keys to the entire facility so that if we need to scoot into somewhere else without potentially me telling them, we can. The idea is we'll have the live stream and the commentators in adjacent rooms that are adjacent to the gym as well. So plenty of space, quiet for the live stream for those that can't make it. Plenty of space. They'll have concessions from students and coaches from the school. Not necessarily meal food, but the idea is that we're going to bring in a smoker, grill, a bunch of food that is homemade, not catered, so we know it's going to be on time. My brother cooks at the local ski hill that hosts big car shows, plus my buddy Ricky does a lot of big time barbecues and parties. So the combination of those two guys doing a lot of the cooking plus help from family, friends, that kind of stuff to do stuff from home and bring it in. And like I said, make sure that the tournament is running smoothly while everyone's getting good food at the same time, so that no one's having to leave, come back. On top of that, so the biggest thing is space, as well as very centralized. Like from the parking lot to the gym, it's literally right inside the door. And then on top of that, just pricing in general for venues, if you're trying to find venues, is not cheap right now. And we got a very good deal on it. So most of the money is going towards things that the players like. Besides playing space, we're going to have a swag bag for everyone that has things that'll be readily used during the tournament, potentially like glue and different things like that. We're talking about with the new 40 mil things getting poker chips, but other things like that that are usable during the tournament as well as usable moving forward as well. Like I know everyone really likes those 6-inch sticks that they usually get at Masters and Best of the Rest. So continue to do with that tradition. But I mean, that's the main thing I can give you as far as there. It's within 2 minutes. I mean, you could probably, it's a longer walk, but you could walk from the hotel to the school. And they're also doing shuttles from the hotel to the venue as well as the airport back to the hotel.
What hotel is that you guys are recommend people?
It is at the Fairfield Inn and Suites Marriott in Mendota Heights. So
Cool.
I have put out a link for that to register for your rooms. There's a block. It's just under U.S. Masters. So feel free to be there. The lobby has been told. I've been told we can be there as late as we want. We can be louder. The venue, unfortunately, since it is a school, we have to get out a little earlier. Probably, I think it's like 10:30. I think is what the times that we offered. But Friday we'll have it the entire day on Friday. So if guys come in, and I'll be there all day Friday setting up. So if people want to play games, if they want to hang out and do board games, it'll be available to us Friday as well. So, yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing. Like I said, I know at Omaha, buying Ubers, different things like that, trying to catch rides with people was kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt. So having everything, since we couldn't be at a central location at the hotel, making it as smooth as possible from airport to hotel to venue and vice versa.
Food is the element that I don't think any Masters has truly nailed. Some Masters have been better at other things. Like you mentioned, the first one we had in Midwest, they had the pizza night, right? New York was fantastic, but the one issue they had was the casino was not ready for the amount of people at lunchtime. We tried to do the best we can, but we were looking at catering, but at a casino, the costs were just, we couldn't do it. So we just tried to tell everyone where the food was. But I think that's like the dream is that you can, especially if you're doing this at a location that you have to go to, right? That once you're there until it's time to go sleep, right? All your food's there, everything, all your entertainment, you're hanging out. So I think that's a really great idea that you guys have like thought about really trying to utilize that family connection, that environment of doing it at a place like this where you can bring in a lot of food. So I think that's a great idea.
It's been a long time since we've done that, right? Luminalty, I think that's what it's called, is what Shannon Shoemaker brought in Chicago.
Yeah, the deep dish.
So I'm excited to have food on site. I think that's going to be, that's a nice perk. That's lovingly crafted by you guys.
Let me phrase that. By my brother and my buddy. I'm not going to do any cooking. But yeah, I think the only meal you will not have to pay for is dinner, or that you'll have to pay for is dinner. It'll just cover lunches both days. Because obviously with Minneapolis, St. Paul being a great area, if people want to go eat, try different things, obviously home of the Juicy Lucy. We'll put some stuff on the rules pack as well of things to do around the Minneapolis, St. Paul area for family, or if you want to do a night. I know there's a group coming in on Thursday that potentially is going to go out to Stillwater, which is a super cool town on the river. So there's some things there that we'll make sure that we get it out on the rules pack as far as things to do as well.
And you mentioned the pack, and maybe talk a little bit about that, and then maybe just let people know the Masters rule pack is a unique rule pack, right? Mm-hmm. It is a rule pack that different elements regions vote on, different elements the home region does. So it's not as easy to pull together, but maybe talk a little bit about your experience and how close you guys are to getting a rule pack out.
Yeah, so I mean, if you listen to Adam Ballard and Mark Cox's interview on Adam's Master site, I think that was like the most in-depth you can get to how things are decided via Masters and the rules for it. It is a vote for a handful of different things. This year was deployment, clock time, points, especially with the new the thing that threw a wrench into it and why it's pushing back some of the decisions, I think, is because of the new edition. When the new edition dropped, we had to give time to give tournaments. A lot of tournaments didn't start till after the new year. You have to have a handful of tournaments in every region before you can't vote without having some tournaments and or a bunch of games under your belt. So that's kind of pushed back, I think, a lot of the votes when it comes to it. And obviously we can't take action until the votes happen. Not saying anything about the region heads. They've been great and very supportive. But it's just one of those things for us, for our rule pack. We wanted to make sure that we are getting information out as quickly as possible. So it's kind of, we're giving you information right now without giving you a physical copy. So that's one of the goals for tonight, honestly, of why I approached Rob, was to get some of this information out to all of the players that were planning on coming for both Best of the Rest and Masters, so that I know people want to make lists, people need or want to paint things up. Having that out to you guys so you know exactly what you need to or want to do will be ideal for you. And that's kind of the smoothness of what we're trying to do for you guys, is get everything out there. I know the physical pack isn't out yet, but it is just waiting on a few more votes on a few subjects, and then we will get it out to you guys.
Well, let's cover what has been decided. We're playing 2,300 points, which means 2 battalions, right? Objective size will be 40 millimeter, which is part of the new rule set, right? Hill height, we're going to be playing with height 3 hills, and deployment zones are only going to be long edge deployments only. So none of the new stuff. But as you mentioned, we're still determining clock time per player, along with which scenarios. And I think if I read it correctly, you guys are looking to have a pool of 8 scenarios to pull from.
I think it got pushed to 9, is what, because I mean, we had a vote of 8, but I think we had talked about doing 9. So that's kind of where we're sitting at right now, is waiting on one more vote, I think, for the scenarios and the clock time. Honestly, the points were a lot closer than I thought for 2,300 versus another 2,500, which surprised me a little bit. I mean, around here, we're typically playing 2,300 other than the Duluth people playing 2,500. But, and I'd heard a lot of tournaments at 2,300, but no, it's good. I like that you can play at multiple levels in fourth. I like that there's multiple ways to play. There's still nuances that people are trying to learn. It's been a lot of fun, and I think it'll make Masters even more fun because of that.
I think part of it, too, though, the difference between 23 and 25 in the grand scheme of things, they're both 2 battalions, right? So at the end of the day, it's a couple extra 100 points that maybe covers some of the units that got more expensive, but realistically, it's not like in the old days where 2,000 to 23 was a big difference. 2,200, 2,300 to 2,500, I don't know.
200 points is a 2 Wretch Hordes at this point, so unit strength 8.
Well, that's true. All right, fair enough. But let's be honest, Jason, you're filthier than Ratkin.
Yeah, who's playing those cheesy rats? Yeah.
I mean, I have my own kid. Every time Sean comes over, I ask him, what do we think about rats? And he says PU every single time. And I think it's absolutely awesome. Actually, I just played Sean yesterday in our tournament and lost. So we play so much that is the one army I feel most comfortable playing against.
Awesome. We should mention that it's $100 per player to register, whether it's for both Best of the Rest or the U.S. Masters. For Best of the Rest, there's actually a Google form. You can go in, and as you mentioned, every single region Facebook page has it posted in there. You click on that, you can sign up. And then if you're going on the U.S. Masters, I think you guys are leaning towards the region rep collecting the money, right? Just give us a sense of how our signup's going for Best of the Rest. I mean, obviously for U.S. Masters, it's capped at the number is the number, right? It's 64 players.
We're at I want to say 10 now for Best of the Rest currently. Obviously, a lot of regions are just finishing up. Midwest just finished up with got Adepticon 3 weeks ago. I know Lone Wolf is this coming weekend, which is cut off for South and I think Southeast.
and it's our final event as well. So I know Lone Wolf's a big one, right, for a lot of seasons.
Jeremy, did you make the team?
We'll see. We'll see.
Uh-huh.
Gotta wait. Gotta wait.
No inside baseball here. She's not sharing. He's not calling a ball or a strike.
No. Yeah, I try to be, as unbiased as possible. So we'll see. We had Adepticon, and then we had April Fool's Jackalopes, and then we got Lone Wolf. So I'm sort of like kind of waiting for Lone Wolf to happen this weekend so I can do the math for all those 3 events at once. And it adds a little suspense to the region as people are waiting to see about who's going to make it this year. And I imagine with any new addition, Rob, I think we'll probably see some new faces at Masters this year, and maybe we won't see some regular faces. That always kind of happens at the beginning of a new edition. Some new people come in, some other people maybe aren't playing as much, or they're busy with life. So Masters is always interesting when we see new faces.
Well, I think it'll be just like Adepticon, right? You had some people that were traditionally going to Adepticon didn't make it this year, and you had a bunch of new people. So I think it'll be the exact same thing. Anytime you have an edition change, there's some people that take longer to warm up to the game, and other new people that go, this is the perfect time to jump back in. So there's people coming and going. That's just the nature of the beast, and that's fine. I think over time people will
and different regions too, right? Like we've just heard how great Midwest is going. I know Southeast is having maybe a little bit of a drop off in different events. So again, I don't think there's one story of fourth and how it's initially doing. I really think there's a lot of different stories, but one thread you do tend to hear, I'm hearing a little bit more about people excited playing it and trying new things, and sort of the same narrative I hold through. People like the new rules, but maybe the balance isn't there yet, or the command orders are a little off. But when people talk about like the core rule changes, I don't know what your sense is, Jason, but after playing it, that's sort of like where a lot of us are at, is we like the majority of the core rule changes, but over the next 6 months, maybe hoping for some balance tweaks. Like, what is your thought?
Generally agree. Always remember going back to third and elves were unplayable. So just like, to me, like when it comes to the army balances, this is the way every new edition is. Like some of the new rules come in, people have to get used to them. Some of the armies need to be rebalanced. It's every new edition. But third was so long that I think some people forget the transition to third a little bit. I know, like I said, our group in general has got a high energy for fourth. We've noticed that newer players pick up withdrawal a little bit faster than some of the actually vets, because the vets are so used to being in combat and basically stuck there that now there's some of the withdrawal and things like that, and some of the plays out of that are a little bit different. They're not used to it. So it's just, like I said, getting games in, both at the tournament level and non-tournament level, that is exciting. And like you said, just new tactics, new nuances that maybe need to be tightened up a little bit, but in general, our area has thoroughly enjoyed the new rules.
Isn't that so interesting, Rob, when you're reading a new edition, to give up the biased lens of the previous edition? Because it's a different game, right? But you're reading it and you're trying to read the rules through the lens of how the rule used to work, but that's not the rule anymore. But sometimes you can overcomplicate it for yourself and trying to understand, because you're bringing with you all the sort of, baggage, for lack of a better word, from a previous edition.
Baggage is the good term for it, right? You've got to take third edition, or as Jason alluded to, we had it was long in the tooth enough that we had to have a 0.5 edition, right? 3.5. You have to take all that stuff and just throw it over your shoulder. It doesn't matter anymore. Even though it fundamentally feels like Kings of War, it's different enough that you need to start fresh. And I think, I just think it's interesting that we have so many good new players that have come in. Ohio is a good example. These guys are kicking their people's teeth in, because, for me, I'm getting confused. I'm like, wait, in this situation, I always did this. Well, that doesn't work anymore. First of all, that rule doesn't work that way. I know I'm stumbling personally. And so, for me, I just feel like it just takes time for me just to unlearn what you have learned. I don't know.
Yeah.
How many times have you've been shot, they roll nerve twice, and you go to pick up the
unit,
like,
oh, no, you're just wavered. I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about that.
So used to just being shot off, and it's like, yeah, no, got to remind you a little bit about that.
Are you playing elves mostly in 4th edition? Because you don't play anything else, right?
I have a Basilian list Basilian, sorry, Jeremy,
Base Alien, actually, right? You guys had it right.
And then Northern Alliance list that I've wrote up just to give me a little bit different look. But honestly, me and Adam have had so many conversations. We were just talking about it this morning about after the tournament, just some of the things I've noticed. He's planning on playing elves down at Lone Wolf, and our lists, while generally similar, there are some differences, and it's like I don't want to go that way because then I look like me and Adam are playing the exact same thing, which my list has changed compared to my old one. It's similar-ish, but like I have more punch power now with some of the things I'm running, and it's definitely playing different. And I had to learn the first couple games like how to deploy the army and things like that. So it's good, it's fun. I like that elves have multiple. Like before, you saw almost the exact same thing all the time. Where now there's I feel like there's multiple ways to play the army and do it well, which is always a good thing to have. I mean, having a good core always helps.
That's like the dream of internal balance, right? That there are multiple good choices, so that if you play a faction, you're not tailored into, well, if I want to be competitive, I can only take this. So it's glad to hear that you're finding that in your army of choice.
Well, we did want to mention you guys are getting to set up a Discord like we had with the West Coast before, so more details will be coming on that.
Yeah, like I said, we're just finalizing it, trying to get it all organized so that once invites go out to people, specifically Masters or people for Best of the Rest that are interested, when they come, all the information will be on there in an information section. Another one where you can type in will be like, hey, for dinner on Saturday or Friday, where is everyone going? What's the plan for this? Just a good place to have the conversations, that organizational conversations, or any announcements that come out. We can, like, if people are sitting outside because it's a nice day, we just shoot in the Discord. I don't have to go out and yell very loudly, like, hey, come back on in, round's going to start. We can just shoot it on the Discord. Everything will be, as far as scoring, like things that you will be over a Google form for scoring purposes. So live updates online for people that aren't there and for people that are there, where you can just, I mean, we've done it for Renegade now. It's super smooth. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it that way. It's the smoothest way, and it allows live updates for anyone that's here or not here.
Anything we didn't cover, Jason, that we need to share with the audience?
No, I mean, like I said, I know that teams are being finalized, so Best of the Rest will be coming. If you could sign up sooner, that'd be better. Like I said, if you listen to Adam and Mark's thing, getting payments sooner allows us to get started with everything and see where budget is for everything, so that we can if we have extra cash, we can get you guys more stuff, more amenities, things like that. And we just want to make it an enjoyable weekend of getting together with one of the greatest communities in the nation, and not just gaming, but general communities in the nation, and have a good time that's smooth and on time to get people there. Have time if people want to stay longer, great. If they don't, when they need to get out, we want to make sure that we can get them to their flights on time.
Well, fantastic, Jason. We appreciate you coming along and sharing all the details, and we'll put a lot of this stuff in the show notes. And if you're so inclined, head over to any Facebook page for any of the regions. There is tons of information that Jason's already posted, and you can also DM Jason directly on Facebook because he's always there.
Messenger is on all the time. Let's say it that way. I am not.
Yeah, right. You're omnipresent. You're always available.
Like, you post something on the main thing in your region, just tag me in it, and I usually answer it pretty quickly. Like I said, I have it up, and I do not like notifications on my phone, so I usually get to it pretty quick.
And like, what better time to go to a Best of the Rest if you've never been? It's a new edition. All the food's there. You don't have to worry about, what a great intro for those players who maybe have been wanting to take part in Masters Weekend but haven't up to this point. I think a new edition could be exciting for that, because who knows? It's going to be a cool Wild West, lots of crazy stuff. So if you're on the fence about signing up for it, there's nothing like Masters Weekend. So definitely get over there, get in the Best of the Rest. Like you said, get that signed up early so they know sort of who they're expecting. And then, you never know. There's always Masters people who can't make it or something at the end. So even if you're not picked as a Merc right away, who knows what happens the weekend of. We've had tons of, right, Rob, where people have to slip in at the last minute and get to play in the big show, who are there for Best of the Rest.
There's a chance in Best the Rest that you could play somebody from England. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, Jason, we appreciate you coming on. For those that want more information, you know who to contact. And we'll be back with you again in the near future with more updates as Discord comes online, player packs available, and the rest of the things like number of which scenarios and clock time are set. So stay tuned. We will be back with you shortly. I guess that'll do us tonight. And until next time, keep countercharging.
Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time on Countercharge. Please let us know what you thought of the show by emailing us at counterchargepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at countercharge15, or by commenting on the Countercharge Kings of War podcast Facebook group. If you enjoy the show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. Until next time, keep countercharging. Music is a composition of Kevin MacLeod and is licensed under Creative Commons.